Every morning I set my alarm for 5:30. And in the summertime, I will often wake before my alarm goes off. And then I'm fortunate enough to come into our meditation room and begin my morning meditation. Society is telling me how to live my life. It's telling me what kind of car I need to have, what kind of house I need to have, what kind of job, and so on. It disconnects me with my true self. And what I discovered is that meditation was the key to reconnect with myself and to live my life and no longer be living the life that society wants me to live. My own gratitude is all that matters. My name is Jakovic. I was born in England, in what was actually a small village in the Black Country in England. My father was from what was then Yugoslavia. My mother is English, although she was actually born in Canada. And I was raised in the UK. Eventually I came to meditation, what I refer to as my spiritual life, but my life was very different in the early days. 13, 14 years old, I was drinking beer on a regular basis. When I was old enough, I was drinking much harder liquor. In my mid-teens, I had sort of decided to experiment with drugs. So I had quite a few different experiences in that way. A friend of mine that we also did drugs together at different times invited me to come to a yoga class at his community center. At the end of the yoga class, we did this relaxation thing. I had actually really liked the feeling of relaxation. So I started basically doing that, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes in the evening and in the morning as well. In a sense, I started to get this sort of conflicting feeling between crazy teenage life that I was living, drinking, using drugs, and so on, and this kind of calmness I was getting from these few minutes of meditation every day. Eventually I came to the teacher that has been my lifelong teacher since that day. That spiritual path is the path of Guru Sri Chinmoy-y, who was a Bengali, but he had been commanded at one point in his youth also to go to America.
If you do not allow any thought to come for some time, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then you will see only good thoughts are coming into your mind. How to love human beings, how to help the world, and how to raise the standard of world.
When I was about somewhere between 23 and 24, I decided to go to New York, where Sri Chinmoy lived. Little did I know that somehow when I would go there, I would end up staying for 31 years. Initially, when I left New York, I moved to Ljubljana, and I ended up in Sarajevo. I have to say I fell in love with Sarajevo. One thing that was interesting was it was difficult for me in the beginning to understand the concept of time. When someone would arrange, you'd say, oh, we'll see you tomorrow, or I'll call you tomorrow. In the rest of the world, tomorrow is usually the day after today. But one thing that I didn't learn right away, but I learned eventually, was that particularly in Sarajevo, tomorrow is any day after today. So you realize that there's like a much more sedate, much more slow kind of pace of things, and this is accepted. I kind of liked it so much here. The city and the people here have been so welcoming that it's been 10 years now.
Tri komada krompira.
Hoćeš ovako ili ovako?
Dva.
Dva. Ovako. Još nešto.
Mrkva. Dva. Tri.
Ovu. Mrkvu. Ovako.
We can live a simple life within this complicated world. At least for like the last 20 years or so, that's the way I've tried to live my life, to be very simplified.
Marko 20. Evo ovako. Evo ovo je moje. Ovo je moje. Evo ovako, pogledaj.
Dobro, dobro.
Hvala lijepo.
Prijatno.
Prijatno. Opet
I try to just live very simply, not to surround myself with fancy things.
Quickest overall, and Lance Stroll finally gets out of Q1 here in Brazil as Sergio Perez goes 5th fastest. Mick Schumacher slowest of all, whilst his teammate Kevin Magnussen.
Running has become a very important part of my spiritual way of life. I participated in a 1,000-mile race on several occasions. I was lucky enough to complete 1,000 kilometers on 4 occasions. For 15 days I ran an average of 2 marathons a day. Sometimes when they would see me in the race, what race are you in, you know, and I'd say, oh, I'm in a 1,000-mile race. And to them, the idea of a 1,000-mile race was, again, impossible. Our mind is saying it's impossible to do this or impossible to do that, but if we challenge it, we very often find that we can actually achieve it. Once we've achieved that, we kind of use that as an inspiration to go further. It shows you that the capacity that we have is truly unlimited, that I can achieve many, many different things in my life if I want to. I like to share that experience. One of the greatest things I think I learned from my teacher was the greatest joy is to serve others, to try to inspire them to achieve something more than they would normally achieve. And so this is kind of the way I live my life. We're not really controlled by the mind, we're more inspired by the heart. When I lived in New York, I was part of a running community. When I first came in Sarajevo, there was no running community. But since then, I have joined, as you see from my shirt, I have joined this group called Tito, or Tito.
Yeah. You are ready for the half marathon? Few runners will run. My plan was to do the fun run, because I'm kind of recovering from illness, but they cancelled it for one reason or another. But I'm here to support. I will have in my bag, you don't see in my bag, I have a bell, a horn, several bells or whatever, so we'll see, I'll make some noise. People are expecting me to make, they said, oh, we know your bell, we wait for it, so. I ring the bell because it brings joy, and when you have joy, you know, when you have happiness and you're smiling, it something really helps to lift you, you know. I'm very fortunate that I get to volunteer at this local Center for Healthy Aging. Since my background is in horticulture, they refer to me as the English gardener. I try to take care of some of the plants there. I'm constantly bringing new plants and trying to nurture a nice sort of atmosphere for the members. And the average age of the members is 80 years old.
odnosno prvo ćemo istegnuti side stretch uraditi, istezanje strana, pa u twist. Znači, to su ti pokreti u kojima naša kičma može da se kreće. Imamo podršku u lijevom dlanu. Na udah opet malo istignemo desnu stranu i tako istegnutu povučemo u stranu. Opet sad pazimo na desni sjedalni dio, vraćamo ga čvrsto u podlogu, uživamo, osmihnemo se, dišemo. Udah, izdah i na udah se vratimo na sredinu. On će vam pričati o trčanju, o hodanju, o toj važnosti. Nick, the chair is yours.
So I'm Nick. As you can tell, I'm English. And so I'm going to address, someone asked a question a few days ago, basically what is an Englishman doing in Sarajevo in the Center for Healthy Aging? Okay.
Ova strana? Što? Da me se vidi lice. Ode ja u Ameriku, jel da? Ili ću ga ovdje uzeti sebi.
Hvala.
Hvala i tebi.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Nikki.
Hey.
How's the favorite therapist?
Everything's good. And you?
Well, I've not been so great. I have a shoulder injury again, and I would love it if you could help me with it.
Oh, for sure. I can, you know me, I can fix that for you. Good. You? Oh, you're welcome. If you sit, and so you know the procedure. Yeah, it's been a while, yeah. She has this problem for a while, and it comes back from time to time. And essentially, there's a lot of tension in around the shoulder, around the cuff. And so what I do really is I use a combination of applied kinesiology and a little bit of chiropractic that I learned when I lived in New York. And essentially what it does is it rebalances both the structure and the muscular balance as well. Because when the two work together, when they're both in balance, then you don't have the same kind of buildup of tension. One of the benefits of my spiritual life, of my practice of meditation, was that I became more aware of myself. I became more spontaneous, I think, and then I started to realize I was becoming more creative. And so as a result, I ended up writing 6 self-published poetry books, 2 children's picture books, 2 short ones. And people get really inspired by them. They're very childlike and very sweet. We can be spontaneous, we can live in the heart. And when we do things spontaneously, we don't doubt whether we can do something or not do something. We just do it. It's not about impressing, it's about inspiring. And I hope that, like, just by showing through example of the way I live my life, I can inspire people.